And welcome into another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit, and BYU fans, basketball season is officially over. Might be too soon, so I'm sorry, I don't mean to rub it in, but now it's time to flip focus. We're looking at the 2026 college football season. Spring ball is more than underway. I think they are 8 or 9 practices deep right now, so starting to almost even get to the spring game even. But today's video, I want to talk about some spring intel, some names that you should be looking forward to this upcoming season, and also just the 2026 season in general. But before we get into it today, if you enjoy the channel, if you enjoy college football, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get right into it here. First off, I got to say, last season, I should say, BYU was one of those teams where when I had them on pick'ems or when I had the opportunity to pick them, I couldn't help but pick them. There was just something about this team with Kalani Sitake being one of the better head coaches in all of college football, in my opinion, just because of the camaraderie, the culture he breeds, and even his coaching ability, too. Like, they win games. Also, the storyline with Bear Bachmeier and true freshman starting, going in there and just dominating, running people over as a freshman. You love to see it. And even running the ball, too. Just watching this team be able to willingly run the ball with L.J. Martin and Bear Bachmeier, that kind of tandem right there. You love to see it last year, and that's kind of what drew me to that team, was that culture and the ability to run the ball, and Kalani Sitake, and I fell in love with him. So I have no doubt that's going to kind of reciprocate this upcoming year. Obviously, Bear Bachmeier and L.J. Martin are back, but there's some missing pieces there. So, brand new defense. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But let's talk about the 2026 season here, and specifically, I'm going to talk about the scheduling in the 2026 season. Looking at the schedule, 7 out of your 12 regular season games are at home, which is a huge advantage for BYU. I know those fans are incredibly passionate. They will bring the noise and be a difference maker in those games. Looking at the schedule as a whole, though, really not too taxing. I feel like it's not overwhelming at all. You dodge Texas Tech, Kansas State, those kind of top-tier Big 12 programs. But overall, I feel like, and I know this game's really being talked about a lot, and I myself am even trying to come to this game, the Notre Dame game. It's one of those games, too, because when you're looking at the schedule, you really play all those like mid-tier to like almost higher-tier Big 12 teams. No one that's really in college football playoff competition right now, respectfully. So when you get to that Notre Dame game, it's going to be like you got to win, and you're almost in. I don't know. It's going to be debatable, obviously, and I'm not going to say like right now, like you win that, you're in the college football playoff. But if you win that Notre Dame game, it's going to be a significant boost for your case, for your resume to get into the college football playoff. So I think that's a must-win, obviously, for the BYU Cougars. But moving on, I want to talk about spring ball. Spring ball's been underway. Like I said, 8 or 9 practices so far. A lot of hype here and there with the new defense, with Bear Bachmeier continuing to shine. But there's some few standout names that I want to get into here. First off, Walker Lyons and Roger Salepaga looking like a two-headed monster at the tight end position right now. And I feel like having a good tight end, changing the dynamic or adding to the dynamic of this BYU offense is going to be largely beneficial for Bear Bachmeier. But also having a good tight end in general is just, in today's day and age, in today's college football, separates good teams from great teams. And going into more of that, I feel like when having a good tight end, and it makes it a nightmare for these defenses, especially in the Big 12, because if you put a linebacker on a good tight end, the tight end's just going to have the technique or the speed to beat this linebacker. And then if you put a corner or a safety on the tight end, then the sheer size of the tight end, and he's just going to overwhelm the corner or the safety. So it's almost like a cheat code. And if they can continue to develop at the way they do, and they've already had development from USC and Oregon, they're both former transfers from Big Ten schools, so they have coaching from these top-tier programs. So if they can continue to develop and find ways to benefit themselves in this offense, I'm really excited for them this upcoming season and how this BYU offense can get them the ball. And also I want to talk about getting the ball to the receivers here, because Parker Kingston obviously gone. We're not going to get too much into that, but who's going to fill that role? Right now, I heard 2 names that are kind of sparking interest here. First off, Kyler Casper, former transfer from Oregon, coming in here, kind of an old head, kind of known for his fade balls, being that 6'4" physical receiver right now. But interestingly enough, he has a pretty deep route tree overall. And he's really become a mentor to the younger guys in the receiver room, which is huge to have on any team. I feel like just teaching younger guys about how-tos, situational football, just in general, I think is going to be beneficial for just longevity of the season. And having guys pair and a spare, I feel like, is big for this BYU team. You just need depth at that position. And speaking of young guys here, young freshman legend Glasker has really drawn eyes as well in spring so far. I mean, I feel like it's hard for freshman receivers, especially I feel like, just coming in early enrollees, to really make a name for himself. But Legend, with a name like Legend, I feel like you have to, be a little good, right? But yeah, he's drawn some eyes and is looking to find ways to get on the field. But I feel like he's really getting behind defenses. From clips that I've seen, he's kind of that speedy guy. So finding ways to get this guy the ball this upcoming season, whether it be jet sweeps, whether it be just bubble screens, getting this guy the ball because of his speed is going to be huge for this BYU offense. But I want to go over some concerns, some questions I have for this BYU team heading into 2026. First off, I want to talk about what is the defense going to look like heading into 2026? Obviously, new defense coordinator, new basically entire defense. A lot of transfers coming in. So I feel like I'm not doubting this defense will be good, but there's always a little bit of a learning curve when it's new. I feel like gelling-wise, with just overall camaraderie, like is the linebacker going to get the calls in to the defensive line? Is the defensive line going to be, it's synergy. It's synergy there. So interesting to see how it's going to look. I feel like in the spring game, you'll get somewhat of an idea what it's going to look like. So I'm not too worried about it, but I think that's just the biggest question. How's this defense going to pan out through the entire season this upcoming year? My second question here is the depth at the running back position. Obviously, L.J. Martin, incredible running back, 1,000-yard rusher. But your RB2, I feel like last year was for the majority was Bear Bachmeier. And I feel like longevity-wise throughout the season, you don't want him to keep taking hits over and over and over again. And I understand running the ball is a big part of Bear Bachmeier's game, and I'm not saying he needs to stop that, but I'm just saying I feel like depth at the running back position will take some of those taxing hits off Bachmeier and L.J. Martin. So interesting to see whose name kind of gets brought up throughout spring. But BYU fans, I want to hear your thoughts. Obviously, like I said, basketball season's over now. We're focused now on football season. I want to hear your thoughts on spring, this upcoming season, this defense, these new tight ends that I'm really excited about as well. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, my name is Zak Herbstreit. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.